This game one sound always makes me want to beatbox. But now we're going to see Luca starting off with a mermail here. We're going lore accurate. And I see a deep sea minstrel in hand. Ooh. I also see a brick. I see the stream, which is also called the Icarus attack for water monsters. I see, there's also double Purulia. Is there any access to a combo? Luca is shuffling through his hand and he can't believe it. I don't think there is anything he can do here.
There's no way. I jinxed it by saying we're seeing mermail combos first. And
Basti,
this is
it's all your fault again.
This is the hand. Look, Luca is trying to think of something, but I don't think he's finding anything here.
He can normal summon Mistral and set stream.
But he didn't even do that. Over to Uchenna is this, and he's of course living the dream. Not even a single card activated into him here, and he has 6 cards in hand now, ready to go.
And you immediately hand looped your opponent for 2. And if you are uncertain if you can win the game in this turn, I think this is also a moment where you might just pass back. You know your opponent can't play at all. They've just discarded 2 cards. You're risking your opponent to draw into more hand traps by playing. I could definitely understand just saying, hey, you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think Uchenna is considering it. Look, there's the hand gesture. No cards being activated to the field.
What is this?
So, Luca, what are we drawing here? Did we find a play?
The Shadow Squad, which is an amazing new card.
Are we off to the races now?
With Mistral.
We do! There we are. Finally, the first mermail card's activated.
So, Mistral reveals his opponent's hand and to banish 1 card until the end of the phase. And of course, Shadow Squad, when it is discarded to the graveyard for a cost of a water monster, can special summon 1 level 4 or lower mermail or Atlantean from the deck.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen Uchenna reading this and just shaking his head like, oh, this did not just happen right now.
And of course, there it is. We're having a look all together, and we see a Flamberge, double impermanence, a Kirin, an Ulcanix, and the Hollowed Azamina. So Uchenna would have been able to play, but he didn't want to use that normal summon to give Luca 2 draws there.
Well, you're gonna take 1 impermanence, right?
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah. But then there's still 1 left.
Neptavis goes to send to the graveyard, so he can actually play.
Okay, goodbye Infinite Impermanence. 1 left in there, but Luca also now with ways to play.
Yep, double Purulia, absolutely broken, stall for a turn.
Okay, Shadow Squad activating. This is one of the ultra rares from Rota, and it is going to now, as you just explained, Mike, activate its effect and bring out a mermail from the deck. And I think this is always Prince, right? There's no discussion about it. It's just
sometimes
always has to be Prince.
You can special summon a Beespike, but most of the time it's Prince.
Yeah, but Prince also has the, I want to say, grown-up version of Prince. Now there is another Neptibus. This is the Prince, but there is Neptibus, the King now as well in the extra deck, which is phenomenal support. But we all know ever since Neptibus came out, the deck just thrived off of its effect. And not only the effect, but also of the cost of the effect, because you have to send a water monster to the graveyard for cost, or a sea serpent rather. And that is going to trigger the send card. So if you're throwing an impermanence, oh no, does this resolve?
I mean, we're doing the cost first, so Uchenna then will still have the chance to respond. And I mean, this is just usually going to be Atlantean Dragoons. This card was one of the best cards back in the day for mermaids, and clearly it is still, of course, yeah.
Usually now the target is the Shadow Squad. However, as this one has been used already, we're going for a different route here. Usually you want to summon Neptibus, send the Shadow Squad, and special summon out the Pike after having searched something else by the Dragoon.
Oh, what are we searching here? Because the search does resolve, and ooh, that is another one of the new mermaid monsters. This is just the Abyss Rhine that we're adding, also free up in the deck.
An amazing card that you can discard. Another card, you can tribute 1 monster from the field or 1 card and special summon 1 level 7 fish from the deck, or you can add it to your hand.
Okay, so it's a bit controversial in the mermaid community right now, whether you are playing Mermail Abyss Megalo or not. Mike, you're an expert of the deck as well. What do you think about Megalo? Of course, back in the day, he was like the monster to go into, but nowadays it's still, yeah, with the time, is it a good card to play?
Yeah, it's a very good card because going second, it can help you make OTK and win the game.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Also, it is the coolest looking mermaid card, and I don't
Agreed.
want to have any kind of discussion about this. This is just absolute facts now. We know the hand of our opponent. There are 5 water monsters in your graveyard because, yes, Bologna is one as well, or rather is 2 as well. And Mulling Glacier can just basically either snipe 2 cards from the hand or force the Infinite Impermanence from Uchenna, which would feel very, very bad on his side. There's also the Rain in hand. Rain can tribute away the Neptabis. Neptabis is going to trigger, then summon back a Dragoon, and if you find a way into a Pike, which you can with Deep Sea King Colicant, then you can go for a Bahamut Shark, detach Dragoons to get a Surge, and summon totally awesome. It is, in fact, totally awesome.
Yeah, that is really awesome. We are going to use the Impermanence, unsurprisingly. We also got to consider that Uchenna, it's not a good interruption, but he still has Kirin effect in hand to destroy the Ulcanix, which would then at least give them 2 monsters on the field, but they don't do anything on the field, and therefore it's probably not that good of a thing to do, giving up 2 cards in hand for that. Okay, but now we continue.
We will tribute the Prince to special summon level 7 Fish, or add probably special summon Deep Sea King. And Prince then will trigger to special summon back the Dragoon from the graveyard.
There he is, the one-off Abyss Megalo in the deck. And we're triggering the Prince now, as you were saying.
However, the Megalo does not trigger on a summon like this. It only searches you an equip spell if you have summoned it by discarding 2 water monsters. That did not happen. You can tribute, of course, the Dragoons to get double the attack, or to get 2 attacks this turn. Dragoon's effect is going to trigger to extend your plays, but let's not forget that there is, as Basti mentioned earlier, the possibility for a Kirin effect to build up a wall, basically.
Indeed, yeah. And I don't know whether Luca is considering that at the moment, because this looks like he's definitely just setting up the double attack of Abyss Megalo, and I mean, that could easily be stopped then.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're going to use the effect of Megalo. That's such a classic effect to use in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Double attacking, that's not a common thing to see anymore in 2024 Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest. But Megalo still does that. Did it back in the day, still doing it here in 2024. And so far, doing really well for Luca, of course.
And Luca hasn't normal summoned yet.
Oh, that's insane. Yeah. You gotta be kidding me. Really? He didn't normal summon yet?
Nope. Ministrel, discard the Shadow Squad.
Oh, you're
Shadow Squad
right.
special, summon Neptabis. Neptabis effect. I don't have to run down the spreadsheet.
Kidding me, yeah. That's crazy, actually. All of that without even normal summoning. So, for how long is the Impermanence actually gone? When is it returning to the hand?
In the end phase.
In the end phase,
But if Uchenna starts summoning monsters to defend his life points, then it's not going to have any kind of impact.
Oh, that is the normal summon now. There is the normal summon of Deep Sea Minstrel. And, yep, now we go for the effect of Kirin. Oh, and Luca, look, he is surprised. He didn't expect that. He didn't realize that you could also just destroy another fire monster in the hand. So maybe he is misstepping into this interaction. Uchenna is carefully explaining it now. And Luca was very ready to attack for game. But no, we're bringing out the Kirin. And I'm sure we also can summon out the Garunix from the deck now.
There is still one thing that Luca has going for him. I mean, there's multiple things that Luca has going for him. This is basically a last defense from Uchenna. However, this has to be end of main phase, so Luca gets to do more in his main phase.
True.
However, he burned through quite a lot of resources. There's not really... Okay, we're ashing that, so we know how to run over Kirin. Do we know how to remove Kirin properly in this situation? Because you can't just destroy it by battle, right?
I mean, you can, technically, but the question is going to be whether that's going to be the outcome that you are willing to have of that. Because, of course, Kirin, if it is getting destroyed, it can just bring back a
Ulcanix is going to trigger, destroy Flambirch, and is going to search for the big Garunix. Garunix is going to special summon itself back, summon Avatar. There is going to be a big chain of events that you don't want to have here. So Luca has to find a way to stop the heat and cool down a little bit, perhaps by splashing some water into his face, and find a way to win this game at this point. It looks like a puzzle that you should be able to solve somehow, but I would have, of course, preferred... Is he actually... Basti, you have the deck list.
Yes.
Is he running the Deep Sea King? Is he running Colicant?
He is... let me check. That's a very good question, because that's another controversial topic between the Mermaid community, and he's not. No, he's not running that.
She can, though, go to Marine's Link 2, a special summon squad, activate its effect to make all the monsters level 7 on the field, and make Gaius, then Gaius to Poseidra, and it will be...
Oh, you might be right. Oh, but we go for a Synchro Summon. Shang Ying is coming out. I didn't even realize that the Deep Sea Minstrel actually is a tuner, but yes, of course it is. So Cheng coming out. Do we have a card to be banished here, though?
We have the Abyss Rhine. I think on the opposing turn you can banish it from the graveyard to get a draw and a discard.
Oh, so we're just setting up for the opponent's turn here?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what it looks like. And Luca, is he trying to run over?
Oh, no.
I would not advise you to do that.
Oh, Luca's double-checking, confirming his opponent.
Is he discussing with Uchenna the possible lines that he has now? It's like, hey, by the way, if I run over Kirin, you can summon Ulcanix, right? And then you trigger Ulcanix, you have the Flamberge in hand, right? So, discussing the full game plan.
Of course, it's nice to see social cards on the field.
Oh, are we in the battle phase? Are we trying to do that?
All right.
I don't think we are, right?
Oh,
we're just passing over. And I mean, this deck, that Fire King Snake Eye deck, is scary. It's able to do so many things, and even though it didn't do that last turn, that's not really an indicator, because last turn he was choosing not to do anything, and he knows that there's, for example, Hollowed Azamina waiting in the hand. So I would definitely be scared here in Luca's shoes. So what did we draw? We got back the Impermanence, and I think we have seen a lot of Mulchamis resolving this game already. And Uchenna just decides to draw another one here.
That's of course not optimal. However, we set the Impermanence.
We're setting it. We're setting the Hollowed Azamina as well.
It cannot be activated since there is no a card to send, like a simple Wanted or Deception.
True. You're right. So the Hollowed Azamina alone doesn't do a whole lot, and we can pass it back over to Luca now.
In the end phase, you can activate the Rhine in the graveyard, discard your Stream from the hand, and get another draw. That means basically this is a 2-card draw phase for him, and a banish, of course, with the Chenying.
And also Chenying gets 100 attack for each banish card.
Wow, this is crazy.
And Kirin loses 100 attack. I wonder how relevant that is going to be. Actually, you could attempt to, if you think you're not going to win the game next turn, you can banish one of the face-down cards and banish the Ulcanix from the graveyard so that Kirin doesn't have a proper target.
Okay, so we draw. There is
pretty interesting.
The effect of the Chenying. And just making sure that the Witcher stream is going to be explained here carefully. I think we just saw Neuron being used here to provide the information needed, and we have seen the Chenying now resolving. We have cleared the monster out of the graveyard, and more importantly, even the monster on the field. And that is going to be scary now. Uchenna still has full life points, but I mean, that's a lot of attack points already on the field there.
Not enough, though.
Not enough, though. You're right. So, 2 cards in hand.
There is one of them as an Ash Blossom. Is that another Shadow Squad that
Indeed it is.
It does look like it for sure. Oh, we just go into battle phase, though. Here we are. That is plenty of damage, but as Leo was saying, it is still not enough, so we will see Uchenna having another turn.
And the Moon Glacier is just chilling there, having a good time. So Luca values the Ash Blossom over a possible Abyss Gaius that he could summon. Of course, knowing there is infinite impermanence set on the field, and he knows the Chenying isn't going to do anything this turn, so the impermanence does not really have a valuable target right here. However, if you commit into discard Ash Blossom after summoning the Shadow Squad, and then overlay with the Moon Glacier, you would provide a valuable target for the impermanence. You would summon Abyss Gaius, invest everything you have, and then go, hey, here, imper me, and then start playing, if you can. Can he?
Normal summon Droll and Lockbird.
This is the Anima Zone.
What are we on to here? It is the Anima Zone, you're right. Linking off the Droll and Lockbird.
Wait, do we... Oh, this is nasty.
Wow.
Do we take the Moulin Glacier and then crash, destroy the Moulin Glacier, and then skip the battle phase of our opponent next turn?
There is also the effect of Virtuous Stream that can banish itself from the graveyard to shuffle back 3 water monsters to the deck.
Okay.
Excuse me?
Infinite Impermanence being used.
Excuse me, it gives protection to a water monster.
Yeah. Oh, but it does not have to happen on protection. So it just chooses a monster on the field and says, hey, once per turn, when this card would be destroyed, it is not. So you can activate it whenever you want and trigger the Chenying. That is very strong by Luca.
That's true. And so I was just wondering whether the Moulin Glacier would even trigger here, because Moulin Glacier says when it is leaving the field face up, it will skip the next battle phase. But it hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, we did not crash into the Chenny.
Ooh, okay, so we are having the battle phase here. That's risky to give him the battle phase, honestly.
Oh, and Shadow Squad. Another one was top decked. I think we have 2 Shadow Squads here. Are we going to make everything level 7?
We do.
Can we get perhaps a Neptubis here on the field?
So, Luca once more explaining it to Uchenna. Triggering it in the graveyard. That's also going to be fine.
Oh, and if you remove the Anima now, the next battle phase won't be skipped, but the one of the next turn. So you can remove it very freely here and just go into battle phase after that, because you're only going to miss out on the next. And I'm not really sure if we're going to see one. Neptubis. It's pretty Nepta busy today.
Oh my, it is. It is for sure. We send Dragoons, and I think Uchenna kind of realizes now what he's up to, because this is a lot of attack points coming his way there.
What are we searching here? Is it going to be another Reen? Yeah. Getting the Reen, Ryan. I love that we now have Atlantean cards that look like Mermaid cards and Mermaid cards that look like Atlantean cards, while they're also always treated as such.
They're all one big family. The Water family is reunited and it's actually doing really, really well here in this tournament as well. And yeah, we spotted a couple of Mermaid players actually doing decent. Also, for like maybe general overview at the moment, there is definitely Tenpai doing decently well at the top tables. I saw like basically every table through the top 10 tables, I want to say, had a Tenpai on it, or at least like 7 at least out of those 10. Sometimes even playing against each other, so there's plenty of that. And interestingly enough, there's also multiple Ritual Beast player performing decently well. So maybe it's Euros all over again with Tenpai and Ritual Beast going strong. But we will have to see. First of all, Mermail is going strong as we have Luca coming back from this awful start with not activating a single card, then activating 2 Perulias for nothing, and then top decking the right card just in time, man.
To be fair, there were plenty of cards that he was going to be able to top deck, but there were also actually, when you think about it, it was like a 50-50 chance, maybe.
Kind of, yeah, probably right around that.
I mean, this is the power of Mermail, that with only 1 card can establish a very good field and also bring back all his engine and go force and push for the game.
Yeah,
that's true. So, key decision here, of course, in this game was probably Uchenna deciding not to normal summon his Ulcanix, right? Because he could have just done that and then like play into it, and he would have probably won that turn, right? Because Mermail doesn't really, like looking through the Mermail list, it's not like they're playing Nibiru or cards like that, so very, very surely like the Fire King monsters are just so big that it would have worked. But go ahead, what are you trying to add here?
But you don't know your opponent's deck.
True.
And there are plenty of decks in this format that are, word has probably spread already after our round 1 feature match of Joshua Schmidt, especially, that there are decks with 26 hand traps. And sometimes, apparently, they want to start. So there will be times where they just have Molchamis and nothing else, and they will have to rely on discarding them and getting draws. So I do understand the decision. I respect the decision, even if it is a crazy combo deck. There is, if they are playing Molchamis, there is also a fair chance that they play other hand traps, something like a Nibiru, and always the chance that you're not going to win the game on that turn.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely same. I do respect the decision, but I think it did cost him the game there. I mean, it wasn't a bad decision at all, but it was just the decision that made the game, basically. And then, of course, the draw for a turn from Luca was then what made the game, because he actually got to play with that, and he got to play a lot, as we could see. And I think Mermail is in a really good spot because it's so good against interruption, right? Like, all of the cards just send for cause, and like, you're still getting something off, even though it is somewhat interrupted, and you just keep on going and going and going. And yeah, I like your pick for the tournament. I could see it definitely going deep, like top 4+ or something.
I hope so, because I really like the deck. And I think that it can go all the way.
Yeah, possibly.
I think it's not only going to go deep, I think it's going to go deep C. Ministrel, also really strong card, trying to take away the cards in hand, the hand traps. And, I mean, those are just gone for the turn, but the knowledge stays forever.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure.
And this is the real power of Minstrel that gives the information.
If you're seeing 3 hand traps from your opponent and you can only take 1 away, that is still most of the time, if you have a good hand, going to be fine for you because you can choose which cards to take away. If you're discarding a Shadow Squad, for example, and your opponent has Impermanence, and Ash Blossom, you take away the Ash Blossom, you can still get your... You can take away the most important hand trap and then you can sequence your plays around this information. However, we have seen that those duelists are ready to go into Game 2, so let's head over to the table.
Fire vs. Water, edition number 2, game number 2. And honestly, Luca would be happy to draw those Molcharmies again, because this time they would be very, very, very much stopping the opponent. And is there anything? Draw phase, Luca? Are we going to do something? Yep, there is the Purulia again. And honestly, I feel like Purulia at the moment, it almost feels like it has more of an impact than Fuvalos. It's kind of crazy. I've
had a discussion with Max van Neverseel about this, but I'm going to prolong that because there's a way to play around that. And that is, oh wow, discard Garunix for 1/1. You don't need to normal summon your Snake Eye Ash if you can just special summon it from deck. Where is Fuvalos now? But the thing about Fuvalos versus Purulia is that Purulia gives you immediate value, and if you're playing a deck with multiple hand traps, you don't want to let your opponent play because they can do some stuff, get some resources before you can activate your Fuvalos because you don't want to drop it on the empty field.
There is Dominus Impulse right after, though, on the 1/1. That's massive. That's a 2-for-1 trade. And even though the Purulia hasn't drawn anything yet, it is going to be stopping that 1-for-1. But at least Bonfire right after. Bonfire, though, is going to add to the hand and will result in a draw here for Luca with the Purulia.
Not yet, but as soon as Ash is normal summoned, draw!
There it is. Immediately, of course, getting the draw. And now after that, of course, the usual sequence, the usual play here is searching Poplar, and Snake Eye Poplar is then also, guess what, special summon itself from the hand. Netting another draw here for Luca, and Luca is already smiling about that because there he goes, number 2.
Interesting decision though, because he has the Droll and Lockbird in hand. I think at this point you don't get too many draws anymore from this combo, so you could have on summon, on resolve, activated the Droll and Lockbird as well, or you could have chained it so your opponent doesn't get to search.
Yes, activated Impulse. That's why he was taking on 1-for-1, and because if he activates Impulse, he cannot draw then.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And on top of that, I don't really agree on saying that we are not summoning from the hand that much anymore. This is a Fire King version of the deck at the end of the day, so Garunix and so on would still be...
Garunix is in the graveyard.
Oh, all right, true. Oh, we started with that. That's a very good point. Yeah, so maybe not that many special summons from the hand coming our way here. But first of all...
Doesn't matter, Dominus Impulse was used. You're completely correct about this.
That is true. So now, are we going to see the Flamberge Dragon? Interestingly enough, I think we see it for the first time this weekend, right? This is the first feature match of a Snake Eye deck we have.
Have you missed it?
Kinda, yeah. I don't mind it, for sure. I like the Snake Eye decks. They're pretty good, if you ask me.
Just wouldn't deny that, no.
Okay, there's the Flamberge Dragon putting the Poplar into the scale.
Flamberge is sitting pretty. We're going to see the good old OSS original Sinful Spoils sending Poplar from the Spell and Trap Zone. Ponix!
There he is. Ponix, and it feels like Luca is trying to hold back, but no, there is nothing.
I've had a very interesting discussion about the Mermaid versus Fire King matchup with Alexander Hulch, one of the more well-known Mermaid players from Europe. And he said that this matchup is actually, if your opponent goes for a rather lackluster field and not the full everything field, that you actually have a good shot to play through it with Engine, especially if you have resolved the Purulia and gotten 2 draws. I think there is a decent shot that you make it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it left and right. Mermail is one of those decks with a crazy engine capable of playing through fields just with their engine cards. So I would totally not be surprised because, let's be realistic, the field that Snake Eye Fire King is putting up is quite interactive and so on, but it's not like the most impressive combo field that just seems impossible to break.
It's not Ubel.
Yeah, exactly. So I could definitely see it happening.
It's also not Mermaid. Because that field is crazy, crazy.
It is, for sure.
It is one of the times that drawing Garunix is actually a good thing, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
True. But what the Mermail deck does best against the Snake Eye deck is actually summoning an easy Abyss Dweller very early into the turn, forcing your opponent to remove your level 4 bodies from the field, because once you have the Dweller on the field, you take away so many interactions.
Ooh, look at that zombie vampire coming out here. That is more so a new technology, I want to say, that the Fire King decks are using. And we are going to see the top 4 cards from both players here, and then Uchenna will be able to special summon one of the monsters revealed. Okay. Oh, getting Wanted and Deception to the graveyard isn't that bad. He doesn't get any monster on his own side, but he can choose one from the opponent, though.
There's even a fire monster if you need it.
Actually, this is massive, having a fire monster there, because that makes Hita way more valuable in the first turn. Just creates another monster out of nowhere because you did hit that Ash Blossom there. I like that a lot. That's good for him. That's very good. And of course, the Wanted ain't that bad either. Do we even... There's nothing to the Wanted, right? I mean, it gives us another draw, I guess. But besides that... I mean, yeah, I'm saying just another draw, but I guess getting another draw after you comboed already is pretty good. And look at that. We are going to use that here. Putting the Deception back underneath the deck and drawing a card.
It's pretty relevant since he can draw utility cards now, since he has used a lot of his engine.
And he did. I think he picked up something like an Infinite Impermanence. And that is also really helpful. Now we're linking off. Are we linking off the heat? Are we linking into the heater? Yes. We're Ash climbing. We're Ash climbing.
Oh man, this Ash is putting in way more work for Uchenna than for Luca, even though it's his card. We
gonna have a serious talk with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, after this match, if Uchenna manages to win, maybe Luca has to give him the card now, because it's more so Uchenna's card at this point.
Very duelist kingdom of him.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we are going to bring out the Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess. We're going to the graveyard because there is, of course, still plenty of cards in there which we haven't even necessarily summoned ourselves, but in the process somehow brought them into the graveyard. But Princess will probably just bring back... What do we bring back here? We could go Hita, which is a Link 2, because all of the other stuff has kind of already been used. It's kind of interesting to see that the Flamberge has not found its way into the graveyard yet, because usually you bring back Flamberge with the Promethean Princess, but that one is still chilling there on the field.
Yeah, and it's not really necessarily looking like it's going to do something.
All right.
Graveyard effect, Ulcanix. Have we used Ulcanix?
Good question, honestly. I think we did. We searched the Kirin, right? I'm pretty sure we searched the Kirin.
Fair.
Okay, so linking off now the Flamberge and the Promethean Princess.
Smells like an Ember Whale here.
And it's very important that he...
Oh, Sunlight Wolf, okay.
Uchenna doesn't need to care about Nibiru since Impulse has been activated.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a very, very good point, yeah. Those niche restrictions by the Dominus cards, you need to remember those, because some people might just still be playing around Nibiru here, but there's actually no need. You can play the combo in the best possible way that you want, disregarding that Nibiru completely, because it just cannot be activated even if it is there.
I love the balancing on that card, to be honest, because this makes it just great. You know, there is certain drawbacks. You have to deck build your deck
efficiently, for sure.
Yeah, I love this.
I am absolutely on board with that. Okay, so we are linking off these two. Is this going to be IP Masquerena? It is indeed going to be that. So we did now lose our chance to actually bring the Flamberge back to the field to put it into the spell and trap zone. But I think our way of accessing the IP Masquerena in the graveyard is the card that we're seeing now here, and it is going to be the Ambloid. Ooh! Are we just going to bring out the card that is supposed to be for the Tenpai matchup, Kikinagi Fucho, for our own first turn? Of course, being a pretty good card just to say, hey, I am not going to lose the game next turn.
Actually, Flamberge in the beginning brought back the Popular to the spell and trap zone.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly. So it has already done its job.
I like the play with the Fucho since now he's protected for one turn, and the follow-up that Uchenna has, it's probably game the next turn.
Yeah, that's actually very, very smart what he did there. Over to Luca, and I think Luca has just picked up Abyss Megalo for a turn, and with all those monsters that he has there in his hand, that could be massive. Okay, standby phase, Pawnyx back to the hand. We know those shenanigans, but now back to the deck that got recent support, the deck that we may not know that much about just yet, and Luca is here for us, showcasing it to us in the round 7 featured match. What is he going to do?
I like that Uchenna is now just playing with the camera and looking at his friends outside, because he has someone, the Kikinigagi Fucho, in a matchup where I don't want to say doesn't belong, but it's very unusual to see that here. And it looks like it's going to win him the game. We haven't even started the turn of Luca, but I'm struggling to find a theoretical approach to play through this. But let's see what Luca can cook up here. Of course, if he manages to take out the field from Uchenna and then set up a full field with Abyss Dweller and other cards, this could still work wonders for him. Now, we're going to activate
the infantry. Yeah, we could technically target the field spell if we wanted to, but they could protect that. Oh, but there also is Withdrawal and Lockbird. Luca looking at his hand furiously. Does he have any way to extend through that? Luca picks up his cards. 1-1 the score. Uchenna and Kikinagachi Fucho equaling the score. And so we are going to see a third game coming our way here. Whew.
Snake Eyes Fire King said, hey, with fire we can't win, let's go for win.
It's literally fire versus water.
Yeah, but the win cards won him the game. The rank 1 exceeds and Droll and Lockbird just ended this quickly, because I was just then remembering Pike is a very good start. If you get your Dragoons into the graveyard or somehow onto the field, you can go for a Dweller, and Dweller just basically takes away all of the resources. I'm very curious to see what Luca is going to set up here, because if he just ends on like a Toad and a Dweller, it's already going to be super difficult for his opponent.
It really, really is, absolutely. I was just missing the Happy's Featherstorm there, honestly, next to the Kikinagashi Fuji. That would have been the icing on the cake. But no, of course, Luca now going first. And the good thing with this Mermail deck, I personally think, is you don't even really need to side in any going first cards, right? Your deck is so crazy going first, so why would you need like additional cards like Skildrin or something? We saw, I think Uchenna just sent that Skildrin to the graveyard with his zombie vampire. He's bringing in those additional cards going first because his combo is rather minimalistic, I want to say.
Yeah. Maybe some thrust targets.
Yeah,
actually.
possibly
maybe that, because that can like cheese you a game, you know, if you have a Dimensional Barrier versus Tenpai or a DDG versus a Fire King version.
Oh, also another good thing is an answer to Droll and Lockbird, because we just saw Droll and Lockbird hurts him, so there is cross-out designators and Droll and Lockbirds in there, so I guess we're going to bring that in as well.
And also both Purulia and Fualos hurt the deck, so also Rush is a very good option for a Mermail pilot.
Yeah, but so we're probably keeping the Mulch armies in then alongside the cross-out designators, I'm assuming, just having one each to be prepared if the opponent is using them. Because if I'm looking at this, there is actually the card you were talking about is not in there. There's no thrusts in this, actually.
Oh, I thought there was no Cosmic Cyclone in there.
Oh, there is Cosmic Cyclones. I can make you happy at least with that. No, that is absolutely going to be in there. But yeah, that going first combo, if it does resolve, of course, is going to be incredibly good. And another card that hurts the deck a lot is, of course, the Dimension Shifter. That's not a card he has to be scared of here, though, because Fire King is equally scared of that card, so he's not going to bring that in all of a sudden. Some niche cards that have found some new love in the format right now that have been gone for a while. DD Crow, I saw that in a couple of lists, and I also see it in the side deck of Uchenna. Is that an option against Mermail? I'm just trying to think of a spot where you could use it.
If a Dragoons is being sent to the graveyard for cost, you can DD Crow it, yes, and then it is not in the graveyard anymore when it would try to activate. Thus, it won't.
Yeah, true. The good old Benton situation, right? I remember that from the Drytron days. They would tribute a Benton and we would go DD Crow so it doesn't activate. So yeah, if you want to prevent activating effects with that, works against Hydrodeck Seals as well.
I'm going even further. Dante Mills for a cost. So if you hit a Gruff with Dante and you DD Crow it, it won't trigger.
All of that is true. Probably none of that going to be seen here, but we are going to hopefully see a great gameplay, gameplay-wise here for the third game. And yeah, another edition, of course, of Fire vs. Water. What are you at home thinking? What is going to be more successful this weekend? What is going to go deeper into the tournament? Is it going to be a Mermail strategy? Is it going to be a Snake Eye variant like the Fire King one we're seeing here? I want to say I think Fire King still definitely pretty far up there. You have your love for Mermail, Leo, so you're the deciding factor here?
All day Mermail.
All day Mermail, okay. Team Water has won. Let's see whether Team Water can win here in the feature match. Players are ready, game free as well, so let's go. I love how Uchenna has organized his cards in hand there. Is that going to make them better? I don't know, but let's see.
It's Exodia, right?
Oh, and look at that. I think Luca drew both cross-out targets. I think he drew the Draw the Lockbird and the Perulia there.
Oh,
or the Fuvalos even.
That looks like Ryan with Dragoon, so I think he's okay.
Okay, yeah, I guess that will do the trick for now.
And he has also an Ash Blossom in order to play around one from the match armies.
Oh, speaking of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, though, that is Uchenna activating it.
I mean, looking at the hand of Uchenna, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this kind of looks like there are 3 Ash Blossoms.
Oh my.
And
the playset.
We still get to search the Neptibus. You Ash Blossom the Rhine thinking, hey, this was +1 for me, but there is no normal summon. Neptibus is being summoned here, and it is going to activate, going +1 for cost immediately. Can you even impermanence the rest? This looks like it is going to resolve, or did we perhaps just say, okay, you can pay the cost and then I'm going to think a little bit about it. Shadow Squad is being activated. Neptibus is going to resolve. I think we're going to see the next Dragoons being added to the hand. Shadow Squad might summon out a Pike, and then this looks like it's about to be full combo.
This is a big wave lining up here. Water is definitely right now getting into the groove. Luca perhaps maybe going to perform his biggest combo of the match so far. Oh, yep, he just keeps on going. Uchenna also says, yeah, just keep the deck open, just keep on running. And what are we going to grab here?
It doesn't quite have a poker face here.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. Discarding the Dragoons. Oh my. It's good to see those cards back, isn't it?
It is. I'm so hyped about this. Discarding. Now, what are we going to search here? Are we going to search an Abyss Gun?
That's also another card where people are hesitant about whether to run it or not. And I see Luca is running 1 Abyss Gandhi in there. Yeah, that's true. Some like it. Some prefer not to run it. But I actually go with Luca. I really like the card, honestly.
Me too.
I can confirm that. It is a very good option in the scenario like this.
Yeah. Sounds about right. So, or maybe it's not though. I think we have settled on the Gandhi now, but also the Dragoon Surge is going to come through now too. And what is that going to bring us?
Let's see how Luca gets to another level 4 on the field, because Rhine was already activated, so you can't tribute the Neptibus from the field anymore to special summon back the Dragoons from the graveyard and go into a profitable Bahamut Shark, just detaching material for cost, thus activating the Dragoons. You're searching for another Neptibus, which now just seems like follow-up, or do you have a way to discard it?
Maybe there's a Megalo waiting in hand, I don't know. He drew it 2 games in a row, so maybe another one here. We'll have to see. Luca, or... he doesn't look as confident anymore, to be honest, right now. Oh, linking off here instead.
He has an extra deck too.
Yes. I'm surprised, but you are surprised by that. But yeah, there is the Corral Anemone. Honorable Marince's card in his extra deck.
That lets you special summon 1 more water monster from the graveyard to the field.
Yep. Water Gang! Can you special summon something that discard Cyber's Gang? That's what I wanted to say. And yes, there is a way to discard. You can summon out the Shadow Squad. Shadow Squad can discard and make all water monsters level 7. But how does that help you in this situation?
Okay, discarding the Gandhi. Gandhi is going to bring back... Are we going to bring back Pike? We are bringing back Pike. Okay, so that's a level 4 monster again. But now...
Is Pike once per turn? That is a big question here.
I mean, it's a pretty old card, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not.
No, he actually is.
Okay, we're linking once more here, and there is now going to be the Mermail Abysslacia coming out.
And I think this one only discards on the opposing turn, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are we trying to get to here?
Have we overcooked?
I think that was the hand motion. I think we're giving it over to Uchenna. And Uchenna couldn't be happier, honestly, because he's playing against Mermail, a deck that is supposed to create crazy fields, and all of a sudden he's just staring down that Mermail Abysslacia plus a single Corral Anemone, which is actually quite good with its graveyard effect because it will generate follow-up too. But I don't think follow-up right now is the issue for Luca because he has enough of that.
There is a big choke point for the deck, and that is Abyss Rhine. If you stop them from using that, it is going to be tough to create the follow-up for the field because you want this level 7, you want the toys or the Megalo in some situations. In this one, a toys would change the complete game. You can discard Neptibus, summon back Dragoons, go for whatever you want. However,
Oh my.
It wasn't there here.
You know what? I think Uchenna just drew that Poplar for a turn, and that is not really the card you want to see, because Poplar is the one you want to search, and rightfully so at the moment. It is sitting at a limited state in the TCG, and therefore picking up that one limited copy of it is not what you want to see, but there is Ash Blossom and Joy Spring on it, and usually Kirin is great with dodging interaction.
It's
not going to dodge that Ash Blossom and Joy Spring though, because it is still going to negate here. Impulse as well though on the Kirin.
Oh, that is... I don't think that is too big here. The Kirin wouldn't have done too much, I suppose. It's not being destroyed. You don't have a trap card in the graveyard, which is...
No, it would.
Most of the time.
Because Kirin would be special summoned, and then he can make Hita, and there is an Ash Blossom on Luca's board.
I mean, that would require him to have another fire monster. Oh,
he can bonfire to take
Fuvalos gets ashed here. Okay, we can use those ashes step by step.
Abyss Rhine.
Right,
and it was discarded for Fuvalos.
It is not Max C, Basti.
Yeah. Oh yeah, super second. Yo, you guys are so right. I completely accepted the fact that he did that. Yeah.
There is usually Bonfire is a crazy extender, but now Poplar is being limited to one, and that changes the deck so much. He has used the normal summon already. Searches for an Oak, and Oak doesn't do anything. I forgot. I thought the Kirin was used to dodge an Ash Blossom, which obviously does not work. So I was confused by that too. But you can also, of course, destroy the Ash Blossom from your own hand and then go into Hita. You were right about that, Mike.
You can also activate first Bonfire to add Ash on or Rock, and then destroy Kirin, the Ash in the hand, special summon, make Hita, Princess, and then bring back the one that was destroyed.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, over to Luca. It was enough. We were thinking, what kind of Mermaid field is this? It did the trick against the Poplar here on the other side of the field, and there is another Neptabus. The Prince is back.
This is an up and down, a roller coaster of emotions. All these turns passed from Luca with a lackluster combo field, or sometimes not even a field whatsoever.
Yeah, no Promethean Princes for Uchenna, but the Neptabus Prince, the Atlantean Prince for Luca, and I think this Prince might be sealing the deal here. Going through his...
Are we going to send a Shadow Squad?
Yep, it is in the graveyard.
You just need damage on the field.
Yep, true. It's less than 5 minutes remaining on the round, so Luca definitely will have to take care of that. Mermaid combos tend to take a little longer, but there only is a Poplar on the opponent's side of the field. We do have to consider that there's also still Kirin in the hand, so definitely don't forget about that, because there is something Uchenna can do. Ash Blossom and Joy Spring now, though, on the Shadow Squad, I believe, right?
The third one in this duel. And Luca has forgotten about the Kirin once already in game 1. Will he do that again? I mean, he already has so many monsters on the field. It is tempting to just go battle phase and go for some damage. But Luca perhaps can go for something else. What does he have here? The Abyss Rhine is not being... Abyss Rhine. The Abyss Lacia can't be used here. Only on the opposing turn.
So are we trying to maybe go into Zilan? Oh, okay. I like this. I think we just declare our battle phase. Then he has to do the Kirin, because that is in the main phase only. And then we can think about stuff again. Like, then we can just reset our mind and be like, okay, now how do I deal with this? And one good way possibly to deal with this is linking into Zealandis possibly. For a second I was like, how are we banishing those now? But that is going to be it's not Zealandis, it is the Mermaid King Neptabus instead. All the kings united now on the water side. That one's 2400. Luca trying to find a monster bigger than that Kirin. It looks like he's struggling with that though, to be honest. He's going through his graveyard. How do we get over that Kirin? He passes it over. There's no way. Uchenna is on it again. Norman summoning the Oak. He's in this. How?
Poplar is being summoned. Poplar is going to search out the next card. Original Sinful Spoils. Can we get a Ponix? Now this has to be in super speed. Uchenna now channeling. He's laughing at the camera, but rather play. You have 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Uchenna brings out the Flamberge possibly.
He's already targeting cards when he hasn't even summoned a Flamberge yet.
He cannot target Prince, I think.
True, he can't target Prince, but he can target the Mermaid King Neptabus, right? Because only the monsters that are protected by the king?
Yeah, I think that's what he was asking before, pushing it back into the spam trap zone. Uchenna all of a sudden in the lead. Who could have seen that coming?
2 minutes left remaining. Tributes away or sends away the Flamberge Dragon here for the original Sinful Spoils. Ponix is being summoned. You can summon back 2 monsters from the graveyard. Not if there aren't any. Yeah, and smiling into the camera, but you need the damage. 2 minutes, Uchenna. The Kirin is waiting. The Kirin is looking so angry at Luca. Wants to attack here, but the battle phase has not been entered yet.
Yeah, he's calm and chill, honestly. Uchenna doesn't even worry about it.
Chill. I'm super stressed out right now.
You are more stressed out than him for sure at the moment. Uchenna just casually resolving that Fire King Island there. Garunix it is. More and more monsters. I think he actually is setting up to go for the full 8,000 points of damage here. He wants to do it in style. He wants to finish the match before the timer runs out. He just actually wants to win it as he is supposed to. Oh, Kirin effect going to destroy the Prince.
And that is going to resolve.
Look at that. We link off these. I thought for a second we go for Fucho again here.
For dominance.
Nope, it's Hita though instead. Hita effect.
We know about the Ash Blossom. This can be Promethean Princess into the Ambler Well. This would then be game. 1 minute left. At this point, I'm still not really doubting that Uchenna is going to make it. Still, I'm super stressed out about this situation. There is... He's not going fast at this point. This is just regular pace.
He is the most chill Fire King player I've ever seen. Honestly, there's Flamberge back. That's so many attack points. Are we finally entering the battle phase? It looks like we are. Uchenna in the battle phase. Uchenna, a match winner here with his Fire King Snake Eye deck. What a match that was.
Who was ever worried? Who was ever worried? This was a crystal clear win. Uchenna always knew it. He always believed. He was basically signalizing everyone to the camera. Every single thought he had, it was immediately telegraphed to the audience. I loved it.
He won that game by opening triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Bring. How on earth?
And he wasn't playing versus Labyrinth.
Yeah, that is true. Let's analyze that turn. Was there really nothing our Mermaid player could have done? Because he just didn't find a way to out a Kirin. How?
It could have added Glacier on the first turn. And then with Anemone, bring back 1 monster, and then we have 5 waters in the graveyard, and then special summon Glacier to discard 2 cards from his opponent's hand. But of course, something that we have to tell is that the stream is very nervous.
Yes,
so the players, get blur, get blackout. So it's very logical to not see every line.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Uchenna certainly was profiting off of that there, because I don't think he was having too high hopes after seeing the 3 Ash Blossoms in his opening hand there. So it is for this edition right now, Fire winning. Team Water, how's it looking at the moment, guys? Kind of sad over here.
Okay, so the problem was that Cosmic Cyclone wasn't drawn, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, if he had drawn the Cosmic Cyclone that he definitely sided in going first, it would have been his game all the way. Luca would have won it, but that was, I think, the issue back there. But yeah, it was, never believed in Uchenna in this game 3, to be honest. No offense, but this never looked like he had a chance.
Yeah, I can tell you though why Uchenna actually was so chill about it, because Uchenna, I remember him from making top 4 at the Austrian National Championship with Fluwanderees. I think Fluwanderees players, they just have that chill attribute, like they played their birds all the time. They were doing a million normal summons.
They have nothing left to lose.
yeah, exactly. No, they got used to the fact of just taking very, very much time to have so many summons and so on and so forth. So he's in the groove, and he won the game. So who could tell he's wrong, huh?
Was it a Barrier Statue Wind Nationals, or was it after the...
It was bad, yeah, it was bad.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
For the elements, though, Fire won the war, the battle, but not the war.
Fair enough.
The water will be back.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting that, for sure.
We have multiple duelists in the tournament that are running Mermail, and they are rather talented. They are incredible combo players. So I'm hoping that we're going to see some on day 2. I'm guaranteeing that we're going to see a lot of fire on day 2, especially because Tenpai is also fire.
Yeah, that is true. But also, maybe the Sharks need to come in and help, you know? Because, of course, Sharks received massive support in Rage of the Abyss as well. Leo, you're loving the Shark decks as well. Maybe Sharks are overtaking.
Armored Shark is an incredible combo piece
in Mermail. I know, but it's also a great deck in general itself. I hope we see some Sharks. I love Sharks.
I know. I mean, I have seen my Salomon grades, and therefore you are entitled to your Sharks. Which rogue deck, which deck that isn't really strong right now would you want to see, Mike?
To be honest, there are plenty of them. One of my personal choice, of course, would be something with dragons, because I really love Dragon
Tenpai.
Yeah, there you go. We found your deck. We found your deck.
Like, you know, the deck, the Prima Right one with the normal monsters?
Yes.
That's pretty cool, and I think that it can take people off guard. It is the same logic as the Joshua's deck with the Castillo and Fitzsmith.
Yeah.
Just make seal, maybe a Caesar, and pass your opponent with 3 to 4 hand drops.
Keep it simple, keep it simple. And actually, in fact, we did see people doing decently well with those Prima Dragon decks in the back. So it's definitely going to be a thing we may be able to bring into the featured match stage in the later rounds. Of course, 2 more to go for today. We're not going to be on those anymore because our colleagues are going to be casting those. So already goodbye from the booth from our side.
Bye.
But now, time to bring it over to our analyst, Alberto, and the winner, Uchenna, of course.
Thank you so much, Seb. I'm here with Uchenna, the winner of our round 7. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
I think it was a very close match, and I mean a back and forth, let's say, especially after game 1. I think, you know, maybe you had some thoughts about it. So what were your emotions, you know, just in general, you know, coming to the future match area?
I mean, I was at feature match already at Nationals, not as big in Austria, but my opponent wasn't. We talked about it a bit before we went into it. And he was very nervous, like I noticed it the whole match, and I think it cost him something.
Yeah, no, especially because like I think that, you know, sitting at the future match area in general is not easy. You are in round 7, so you have already played quite a few matches, I would say. And especially playing like against, you know, Fitzsmith's fire deck is not easy in general.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, he had he won the die roll with his deck, which is huge for him. With his, what was he playing?
Yeah, the Mermail.
Yeah,
so
Mermail.
I mean, and I have the first highlights while you talk, so at least we can go through it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, because like as you were mentioning, he plays Mermail, but then something happens, I mean, I guess, right? Because here the Borussia get activated, and but it kind of bricked, let's say, no?
Yeah, he bricked obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
something else happened.
I had the normal summon Ulcanix, but I didn't want him to give him 2 draws, and at the time I didn't know what he was playing. Like I could play, but I didn't want to risk it, you know,
no,
like
but
give
I
him
think
too much draws.
Exactly, but I think it made perfect sense for you to just pass, because like in your mind is,
I had
you
2
didn't play a single
imperms
card.
in the hand.
Exactly.
I thought I can, like, if he rips something, I have 2 imperm, I can stop him. That
Yes.
was in my mind.
Exactly, and I think it makes perfect sense.
Especially if he couldn't play in the first turn at all. Yeah,
exactly. And in the second one I'd like to show you, I think there is a point in which, in this specific moment, I think he was going for the OTK, but he didn't realize the Kirin could get activated, right?
Yeah, he was going for it, but I wanted him, like, I didn't want him to make it as easy.
Yeah.
And he passed, and that's the first time that he, like, did fall to his nerves, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also like you could tell that maybe he was not super familiar with the cards, right? Especially because like we noticed that he was reading a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he was just making sure for himself, because he was, as I said, very, very nervous, and then he passed. He passed so often.
Yeah.
When he, I think, in my opinion, should not have. But yeah.
And in the third and last one for game 1, there was a moment in which I think you tried, let's say, no, with the normal summon of the Drone Lock, because in that moment you just go for the Anima and taking the Glacier. Now we will say it.
Yeah. I just didn't give up as easy, and I mean, I thought I would have a whole nother turn, but I missed that when the Glacials is on field, that I that he don't get a battle phase. I missed that because the card was Italian, but yeah, I should have read it. Yeah.
This is actually the one for game 2, but we can already see that basically you start things off with the 1-for-1, and here it basically goes for the Poruglia and the Impulse, and after that. So, I mean, were you scared, like when you saw them?
I mean, it was after I finished the combo. I realized how good it was that I hard drew the Garunix and could discard it, so it gets summoned from graveyard and he has one less draw. But yeah, the Dominus Impulse was something, but I had enough starters, luckily.
Yeah, and in the next one I'm about to show you, as you mentioned, I mean, I think you navigated through this quite well, I would say. No? So are you satisfied with it overall?
Yeah, like I gave him 2 draws, so yeah. For full combo, basically.
Yeah, especially like with the Fuku in general, I think it's very difficult to get rid of it.
Yeah, like I cannot die. It's meant to be for Tempai, but basically, I feel like I could die technically, like piercing damage, but yeah, you feel safer.
No, especially because like there's the Megalo, which can attack multiple times, but with the Fuku you're just safe. You know? And after this one, there's basically the very last one, let's say, highlight of game 2. Which basically seals the deal for you, right? And I wanted to ask you before we see it now, what were you thinking entering into game 3?
I was very scared. I did put in as much hand traps as I could. Like normally I only side like 8 cards to have enough starters to beat his hand traps. But I screw it and I put all hand traps in because I was so scared from the hand trip, you know. Hand trip is kind of
and we can say it now that basically, I mean, there was a certain point in which, yes, I mean, this specific point in which he was trying with the infantry to get rid of it, but when basically you activated the Drone and Lock Bird, I think he immediately realized
that sealed the deal, like on the spot.
You
like
know?
Full board plus the roll is OPA, especially against combo.
I mean, exactly, this was already too much, and I think when he looks at his hand, I mean, you know it.
That's why I was looking to them.
And yeah, I mean, basically now you're entering into game 3. You were telling me you were a bit nervous because, of course, Mermel is a super explosive deck.
Yeah.
And he started things off with the Neptabis, which also we thought that it would have been scary, right? Because like from that, it could get even more crazier.
As far as I know, it's like 2 hand trips and 2 Omni negates on the end board.
Exactly.
And they cannot be targeted, if I remember correct. So yeah.
And also there's the Molten Glacier, which is insane in the deck. And the first light in game 3, honestly, I mean, there's the Hash being activated on the Poplar, plus the Impulse on the Kirin.
Yeah.
And basically there was a certain point in which you passed, and we thought maybe over for him. But what were you thinking in that moment?
Yeah, like I was only angry because I drew 3 Ash Blossom. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But that where his nerves again screwed him.
Yeah, because like basically I think there was a point in which I think also there with the Impulse, this is something that maybe won you the game, you know?
Yeah,
later.
I think this Impulse is kind of wasted.
Yeah, because basically later on in the second highlight that we are about to show you guys, basically you get to activate the Kirin and he has no way to get rid of it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And basically from this moment on, you just manage to like advance into even further into this game.
Then my combo started.
Yes,
like
exactly.
The OTK is pretty strong in this deck.
And we can basically advance into the next and final highlight, just to show you guys, you know, how Uchenna basically sealed the game. And I think it was very impressive because, like, overall, I think after 7 rounds, you know, always being there and you know, competing. You know, I think I want to congratulate you. Like, first of all, you know,
Thank you.
As you can see, I think you piloted the deck very well. And to make day 2, you need another one. So with
I
mean, to make day 2 at least. Now you are in an X1 record, so almost there because like 2 rounds remaining for the day. But
X-freeze to day 2?
Well, I mean, you may have a chance, but like I think, you know, you may be even more confident advancing into day 2 with like an even better. But I think you have good chances, honestly, after saying this match.
Thank you.
So best of luck for the tournament. I hope to see you soon tomorrow.
Thank you.
Why not? And guys, thank you so much for watching. Back to Ed.